Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Building Basics. Today we're going to be looking at texturing, gradients and weathering. So these are three main techniques you need to be using in your builds because these are really game changing for your builds. They make them look way better. So let's start with texturing. So texturing is basically putting a load of similar blocks into a wall to spice up the texture and colour, because you can see here if it was just a stone wall like this, it's a bit boring, but we've improved it massively by adding some bricks, some cobblestone and some andesite, and this makes it look a lot better. Now how do you do this manually? Because a lot of people use World Edit. Well, if you're in survival and have to do it manually, I suggest using the method I use, which is basically adding in these three main shapes into it at a time. So we've got this sort of little L shape, this line and this single block. So what I quite often do is I'll start off by adding in, say, 2 of the L shapes, then decide to maybe add in 1 line and decide to put in 1 block, something like that. And that already makes it look a bit better, and we can repeat that. We can always go over as well, like so, say like that, and then you can see I'm still doing the same sort of block combinations, and sometimes I'll just do lines and blocks because I don't want to, I really like the look already and I just want to add a few extra blocks in. And you can see that really does a lot for the build. Just a few random blocks there and there work really nice. And I think, yeah, this is the main way I've found myself. I found this the easiest way to do it. At least if I was having to explain it, I put in mostly these shapes. So if that works for you, then that's great. So now we're going to move on to weathering, because this is very similar to texturing. Basically, weathering is texturing but only using variants of the same block. So you can see here we've got a load of spruce planks, and then we've got spruce stairs, we've got spruce trapdoors, spruce buttons and spruce signs everywhere on it. And this is basically to make it look more ruined or run down. You can see it really does do a good job of doing that. This looks slightly horrible, I have to say. So, how do you do this? Well, I'm going to show you what I usually do when I am doing this. So, what I will do is I'll make little sort of cracks, like so. And I'll sometimes do larger cracks, like so. You can see that's a lot bigger than that. And then I'll join these up using these sort of adding more cracks in by putting in stairs. And the thing is, stairs are really good because you can do these nice sort of shapes with them, and really there's not many blocks like them where you can just do some nice sort of cracks into a wall. And this is one of the main things you can do, but you can then put in trapdoors once you're happy with the spruce stairs, and putting them on the blocks which are not currently stairs. So you want to put them on full blocks instead of stairs, because you don't want to cover up the stairs because that goes against everything. And then you put on signs on anything really, because it does make everything more interesting. And then on any block you can put on some buttons if you want to. I don't usually do buttons, but if that's what you want to do, sure. It's just another thing you can do, and I mean that already looks great. I mean, I'm really pleased with that, and yeah, that's basically how I do that. Now we're going to look at gradients finally, which are going from blackstone up to calcite, and really this is a more recent thing, because of course, well, you've got the new trapdoors were added, which basically allowed all of this, but we already had the stairs. This one we already had blocks similar, but this one we didn't really have the blocks to go between all of the different levels. For example, say you were in 1.12 and you wanted to go from a dark colour to, say, a light colour. The only blocks on here which we had then were these. Like, that is a small amount of blocks. I mean, that sort of works as a little gradient, but andesite had a different texture, and really, gradients weren't a thing back in the times of 1.12, etc. So we've got these new blocks and we can do a lot more. You can see we've got blackstone all the way up to calcite. So blackstone, deep slate tiles, cobble, deep slate, tough, I think it's fire, coral, so it's dead fire, coral, stone, andesite, diorite, and calcite. And I mean, it's a really good transition. It works really, really well. But how do we actually turn it into a proper gradient? Because this is just lines and nothing else. Well, we need to get some blocks. I think we'll actually go from cobbled deep slate up to andesite, because that's usually what I do for most of my gradients. So we're going to start with a layer of cobbled deep slate. We might then do a layer of tuff. And I'm doing these 2 blocks away from each other. And you'll see why that is the case very, very soon. So we've then got the stone layer there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a sort of random amount of each one's between. So let's do that and that. And then because we've used 2 tuff on that, let's use 3 on this part. Like that, maybe. And then we put in some dead fire cobble, which we'll then have going like that. And then we've got the stone. And then we need to put the andesite in. So like that. And there we go. We've got a nice gradient there. I mean, it could be improved by adding a few other blocks in. I'm sure you'll be able to find some which go between... There'll have to be some in the future which go between tuff and cobble and tuff and deep slate, because they're still pretty hard transitions. But, I mean, they're the best we have. So, I mean, that came out really, really well. And that's how you do it. You just want to have them being fairly separate from each other, and then having random amounts of blocks in between. And that is how to do a proper gradient. I hope that's helped, because I know that back in the day I would have had trouble doing gradients. I really didn't like them at all. And the main reason was because I thought they looked weird. But trust me, all of these make your builds look way better. Don't worry if you don't really like the look of them, because you'll learn to like them. When I started doing texturing, I really didn't like how it looked. I thought it looked weird. I thought it really didn't do much. But as I went on doing building, I realised it actually does make it look a lot nicer. It's easier on the eyes just than having just a load of stone bricks everywhere. And it really adds a bit more interest and shows you put effort into the build. So even if you don't really need to, you can always just show it off to your friends and have a whole textured wall, because it will show you've put effort in. So anyway, I hope you found this useful, and if you did, please hit that like and subscribe button, as it would really help me out. And check out other episodes of Minecraft Building Basics, as we've got a whole series on my channel. And yeah, I hope to see you all later. Goodbye!